When planning today's project, I was out of ideas. So I decided to turn to the internet where I found this great idea for our upcoming project, where you are going to be creating some clay fish. But is it okay to use others' ideas? Or is it copying? Because copying is bad. And even adult artists run into troubles where they're found copying, such as this artist, Jeff Koons. When he was in the airport one time, he was stopping at a shop and he noticed this wonderful photograph by the photographer Art Rogers, and he thought it was really neat looking. And so he decided to make this sculpture from it called String of Puppies, which, looks a lot alike, which was discovered to be copying. And he ended up having to pay a big fine. And in the upcoming classes, we're going to be talking more about that art and get your opinion on it. But what we're doing today and in the upcoming classes is working on this Minnesota Create Benchmark. I can identify issues involving copying and originality in artwork. So getting back to our project, this clay fish, is that okay? Well, the truth is, Google is a really wonderful resource. We can find all sorts of helpful things on it. And one thing that's important when using the internet is to give credit to those ideas. As you've seen me do right here, where I say thanks to Sarah E. Wayne for the idea for this project. And there's a link right to that project. And that shows by whom the idea was inspired, and that's important. And when you're reading a book, you might notice citations in it. And that's where the author gives credit to the people from whom those facts or those ideas or studies came from. And someday you'll learn how to create a work cited. And here in the art room, when we're using Google, it's important that we too avoid copying. And instead that we create art that's inspired by changing things up a lot, so we're not copying it. So thinking about your project, we're going to be creating these clay fish. We're going to make it very different, and you are going to get to pick a fish of your own desire, okay, in the ocean. Or it can even be an imaginary fish where you're taking bits and pieces of different fish. So we're going to change it up a lot by choosing different fish. And we're going to change it up by adding in different textures to our fish. You'll also get to paint it using any color from your imagination, creating patterns and various designs. So we're changing it up a lot. That's important. Also, our process is going to be different. When she did this project, she was using 2 pinch pots and joining them together to make the body. We're going to do it different. We're going to use 1 pinch pot, and then we're going to be coiling onto it so that we can make that body longer. So you can make fish that are quite long, and we'll even have the opportunity to learn how to flatten the clay so that you can make very thin fish. So we're doing many, many changes to those fish. And there's another fish with a flat body. Because it's important that we learn how to create art that's inspired by changing things up a lot. Because the truth is, Google is a really wonderful resource, but it also can be used poorly. And it's important that we learn how to use Google the right way. So now that we've begun talking about the Create Benchmark, I can identify issues involving copying and originality in artwork. Let's get back to our project.